All right, we'll get to more of your chats, folks. I know we're gonna have some portal things to talk about too, as well. But it is a Remember Wednesday presented by Fayetteville Fly Co. here on the show, and just want to remind everybody that we always appreciate their partnerships. You know, this little Rod Hog shirt that I got going on. They just came out with a Rod Hog hat. So if you haven't seen those, if you like this, but you like the hat style, they got those as well. So you got to check them out at fflyco.com. Free shipping on all orders through Friday at midnight. So this week, free shipping on all orders, guaranteed delivery before Christmas if order is placed this week. So if you're looking to get a Christmas gift, got to do it right now because that'll guarantee it before Christmas arrival. And 20 to 30% off select items for last minute Christmas shopping. And even more because we have this promo code HOGSBY20, 20% off. So that's on top of that. So 20 to 30% off select items. If you use that promo code HOGSBY20, you get an additional 20% off. It's that simple. So check them out today. It's Fayetteville Fly Co. and fflyco.com. All right. So, there's still some stuff going on with the portal right now, which I know we'll get into and everything, but nothing happened. I wanted to just funny say this. Remember when yesterday, that day when it was madness and Braylon Russell was in the portal and then he wasn't and then all of that. I'm just going to remember that day for a long time. I thought about that this morning when I woke up. I'm like, that was the most insane thing I've seen in a long time. And that was a lot of fun and really crazy. So I wanted to bring that up as a remember when, even though it was a day ago. You got to remember that.
Yeah, that was the one that broke me. I was getting off the train at Madison Square Garden and saw that he left the portal. And by broke me, I mean, like, that was the point where I went from just being pretty irritated about the way all this is going down. And, it's like, what the hell is going on with this program? And when I saw that, I was just like, dude, I don't care. I do not care. In fact, I text you guys with some very strong wording. I do not care about this right now. It's just insane. And that, like, it's a microcosm of some of the stuff going on at Arkansas. It's just like, I mean, it's still clown shoes, man. But that is a very good example of just how ridiculous the entire landscape of college football and transfer portal is right now. I was just like, all right, this is dumb. I'm turning this off of my mind for the night, not dealing with it anymore.
Yeah,
and I will remember it forever.
Yeah, I will remember. Yesterday was honestly just a legendary day in general, just from start to finish, from the scoop off between Trey Biddy and Mason Choate, the entering of the portal, the withdrawing from the portal. Then you finish it up with a late night basketball game mixed in a little bombastic there. By the way, y'all know anybody, any outlet in the state producing football, basketball, and baseball content, heat, all at the same time, all in the same day? No, anybody doing that. But I will remember yesterday too. But yeah, it was funny when me and John were talking about Braylon Russell's triumphant return. We started talking about the actual football aspect of it, and it's funny because like we had all this drama, all this whatever, and we're like, okay, so the result is Arkansas gets a running back that had 300 yards and 2 touchdowns back. It's like all this drama over the third team running back. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but it's just the world we live in.
I know. Well, that's what I was saying. Like yesterday, if you just took away all the drama, it was a good thing that happened. Like if you just would have, skipped, almost like editing, cut out the video, but skipped it from when you woke up to when he announced you heard he's in the portal and then, he's back in. Everyone would have been like, okay, good. That's good. That's a good thing. But then because of the drama that added to it, it was almost like a sour taste in everybody. Of course, we haven't heard anything again about what happened, or maybe we never will. But it was just really fun seeing that. And then former players going after people too. And just wild, man. The transfer portal will bring out some of the worst, but some of the funniest in people. That's really what my main thing is on this. It's just so funny how it continues to get crazy like that. But yeah, it was a good time. I also wanted to bring up for Remember Wednesday. Do you remember when bowl games used to matter? Or at least we're in a way of not saying they don't matter because we talk about the practices and how important. I'm talking about legitimately waking up and being like, man, I cannot wait to see what team or what bowl game my team's in, and hopefully get a good matchup. I can't wait to go. It doesn't matter where it's at. I'm going to go. Here's the connections here. And then you get an opponent and it's all the players playing in it at once. It's just bowl games. It's amazing. And I get it. I'm not saying that it needs to get back to that, but it is so funny how, as a Razorback fan, I specifically remember how excited I was that Arkansas was playing in the Cotton Bowl against Oklahoma. Like that was just such a big deal to me. And Arkansas went 7-4. So it's like, I just remember that, and I kind of miss those times, but it seems like it was eons ago when bowl games used to matter.
Yeah.
New
I
Year's
miss
Day
those days.
Yeah, New Year's Day Bowl. That even used to be a phrase. Was a New Year's Day Bowl as a team? That mean you made it. That mean you might as well have been a playoff team in that regard if you did that. So yeah, that was a good one for that.
There was one day when I was a kid, I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and I remember being pissed that I had to go to my friend's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese because it was on January 1st. And it was like, I couldn't watch all the bowl game. I was like, I'm supposed to not watch the Capital One Bowl, Mom? What the hell? I was so pissed that I had to go to a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, which, as a kid, going to Chuck E. Cheese is the goal. That's where you want to go every day. But on that day, I was sad at Chuck E. Cheese because I wanted to watch bowl games. That would never happen. If anybody wants to go to Chuck E. Cheese on January 1st this year, I'm there. I won't complain at all.
I just love the fact that, well, first off, isn't Chuck E. Cheese, is it where a kid can be a kid? Wasn't that their phrase?
Where a kid can be a kid.
Yeah, because I felt the same way, Andrew, growing up. Chuck E. Cheese was literally heaven as a child. But also going to Chuck E. Cheese.
Eli Drinkwitz loves Chuck E. Cheese.
I can see why.
He's going to Choctaw.
Yeah. Well, he's as much as he's played the animatronic in the band there on the stage himself. I can see why Eli Drinkwitz likes it. But yeah, that was so. First off, another thing, why January 1st? That feels like the worst day to have a birthday party. January 1st. Is that like? I
don't remember who it was or why it was happening, but
Okay. No, well, that's just that's awful. I did want to give a shout out, another super chat. Hey, Sasha, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you so much for that. We are very blessed, and we really appreciate it. They didn't add it. Yeah, I got you. They didn't add it, but yeah, into the chat. But it says, love you guys. Listen every day. Thank you, Sasha, for real. That's very nice of you to do. Very nice.
Very cool. And, appreciate that.
Yeah. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And we're doing it every day. And in fact, when I got my haircut yesterday, which thanks guys for noticing. But when I got my haircut yesterday, the girl that was doing it, she's like, what is it like being on camera for like hours upon hours a day? I haven't really thought about it. I was like, man, yeah, this like transfer portal stuff. I feel like I'm looking at a camera a lot more than I am my own dog each and every day. But it's what we do here, man.
You really are. And it's different, man. It really is. It took some getting used to, like when we shifted over to doing this, because before we started up, I was doing, and me and Andrew both were doing like a Hog Hoops Live, like we were doing a podcast and everything like that. But when you not only have your voice on the airwaves every day, but also your face in front of a camera, every single day for hours, it's different than writing, man. Like you can go in and edit things, change things. Once you say something and it's out there, it's out there. There is no going back. And it's been really interesting for us, I think, as we're going through this transfer portal thing, to navigate it the right way. And sometimes I feel like we do a great job of it. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't consider that might happen an hour later. But with guys going in, guys coming out and everything like that, it's a challenge to talk about it effectively and fairly and continue to run it back. It's different. And it's something that I didn't really consider. It took some getting used to being on camera a lot. And now I feel like I'm almost making another type of adjustment as we get into this and just covering this thing in a way that people just really don't do. It's different. Yeah. And it's challenging and it's fun, but yeah, man, we just got to sit up here and lay it all out there with our face in front of the world. So it ain't as easy as people think it is, man.
It's definitely different. And for the most part, it's much better. Like I enjoy this a lot more than like, this is the most fun I've ever had covering sports. Like this is the most, I mean, not saying this is the best time in my life, but it might be the best time in my life. But it is very enjoyable. But I will say there's about once a week, I'll just be laying in bed. I'm like, did I say something stupid? Like, did I say like, I'm surprised, honestly, that I haven't said anything that's like really got me in trouble yet.
I'm surprised you haven't said anything that's really gotten you in trouble yet.
I mean, true. I dropped that one F-bomb that one time, but John giggled, so it's all good. But no, yeah, I'm there every now and then. That does kind of like the weight of it kind of stresses me out, where I start looking at our numbers. I'm like, oh wow, X amount of people watch this. Oh crap. Wait a minute. X amount of people watch this. Like I start getting nervous about it, but no, it's a lot of fun. And honestly, I just like that we have such a direct relationship with the people that are viewing us, that are watching us, and we have like a direct avenue to the fan base. I really like that, and I think the fans, I can't speak for them, but I assume they like it. And I always say, like, when I was a kid, I wish something like this existed, and so I'm glad that we do exist.
Yeah, Me too. And again, like Spectre Streams, my man, thank you so much. Like you guys are being very generous today, and we very much appreciate each and every one of you. But thank you, Spectre Stream. Says, nice haircut, John. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. Hey, I'll get a haircut again today, man. If you need me to,
Arkansas needs to beat Michigan every day.
Sheesh.
No kidding, man.
We just have a big win in Madison Square Garden every day.
John, is that super chat over or under the amount of money it costs you to get that haircut?
It is well under. Shelby does a great job. So shout out to her. But yeah,
that's including tip, I assume.
Yeah, including tip. Okay, well, here's the thing: if I was getting anywhere close to $100 haircut and my hair looked like this, then I'm getting screwed.
I just wanted to put it out there for you to say, man.
No, like there's just no way I would ever consider anything like that. I don't have enough hair to make it that expensive, for crying out loud. So, but thank you, though, Spectre Streams, for real. Seriously. Thank you for that super chat. Very nice of you. Did want to give a shout out also to our guy Coulter, who is part of Fayetteville Fly Co. Here on Remember Whensday, but said, nice haircut, John. The chat noticed. Obviously the chat noticed, but we appreciate it.
Fayetteville Fly Co. Speaking of, I was wearing my Rod Hog hoodie yesterday on the airplane, and had multiple people that were like, dude, where did you get that? And I pointed them in that direction. And Michelle, you're mentioning Rhoback earlier. Michelle found somebody, an Arkansas fan with the Rhoback logo, and she was trying to track them down through the crowd in New York. She was wanting to be like, hey, I don't know where you got that, but if you use Hogs by 90 or Hogs by 20, you get 20% off your. Michelle is
she's a company gal.
Look, I know that we don't do the nepotism thing, but we might have to get her on payroll if she keeps it up. I mean, she's doing a great job.
I don't know. With her money, I don't know if we can afford her. Like the way she's flying, I can't send her to Rome. Going the other here in a day or two.
She has expensive taste, that's for sure. It's crazy, man.
When is she going to Rome? Is that next week? Is that like New Year's?
She's going to be gone Christmas through New Year's, so I'm going to be leaning on you guys as family, just so you know.
I'm sorry.
Like, you want to go to Memphis?
That's the way it's got to be.
She didn't get to go to Memphis for work, though.
There's nothing I'd rather do, Andrew.
Sheesh. I did also want to give a shout out to where was it at? Oh yeah, this came from Luke, where he says RIP to Curtis's knees from that short ass table from last night. Yeah, I saw that picture. That cracked me up, man. Like everyone gives you a hard time for or not a hard time, but like talks about your height. Like you in that, if I was the only picture I ever saw of you in my life, I'm like, Curtis is literally 7 feet tall from that table.
It was crazy, man. Like they had it was on bleachers, right? Kind of, and they had the table set up, but it was on the bleacher below, but then you had the chair on the one above. So it made no sense whatsoever. And they had the really tight covers on top of it to where you couldn't even really get your legs underneath it that well. It was brutal. And then I was put on the spot where the legs of the two tables met. So like I had to be almost like spread eagle and trying to get down underneath that thing. I'm doing the post-game show like lurch, all leaned over. It was rough, man. And on the one time when I got so many people taking pictures of me and sending it to me, which is a weird thing to have happen, John, I know you're familiar.
Too often.
The posture was just horrible, man. My back's paying for it today. I felt really bad because whoever was there for the University of Arkansas doing like their social media stuff was seated beside me, and she came and sat down, and I was just all hunched over, and I moved when the Tennessee game finished and we had some more room. And I was like, I promise I'm not trying to like get away from you. I'm not trying to be rude here, but like I gotta have some area to spread out. I'm sorry. This is crazy.
Yeah, well, I just hate that because it's a figure Madison Square Garden. You'd have all the finest of amenities, but I guess not in that particular case, though. There was another one too. Oh yeah, shout out to JP. Just says my 3 brothers I never had. Thanks, Inside Arkansas. Thank you, JP. Yeah, we appreciate that. Also, Bill says I was afraid for Curtis he was going to get robbed on the street. I was just going to say, well, he better had some canned goods in his hands. That was going to happen. So just saying.
I was wondering how that was going to work out. But right there in front of Madison Square Garden, it wasn't that bad. I was just kind of walking a loop around the big area out there out front. And then, you know, like if I've got the selfie stick, then everybody can see behind me. I can see ahead of me. So if I've seen any riffraff going on, I just kind of turn and go the other way. But it was, I don't know that I would, like, I didn't feel unsafe, but I wouldn't recommend looking like an obvious tourist down there. That kind of makes you a target. I'm a big guy, so maybe I could get away with it a little bit, but yeah, it was kind of nuts.
But I feel like since Michelle's from basically New York, you're not a tourist, you know.
This is true.
Now that you've been there twice, you're officially not a tourist.
I kind of feel like a local.
I would be a tourist. I would stick out like such a sore thumb. I wouldn't know what to do, man. So I may need to really break myself in nice and slow. If that's what's going to happen. A few other chats here too that we'll have, because going back to the Michigan thing, saying that apparently Howard's son is on the roster. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either, but it makes sense.
I knew that.
Okay, yeah, that's my bad. So that makes sense.
Pippen, I didn't realize that Pippen was still on was playing for them. One of the mini Pippins, not to be confused with Scotty Jr., but what's his name? Justin Pippen.
Yes, I think Justin Pippen's his name. Yeah, he was on there. Also, Colin said that Billy got a tech against Baylor for throwing a ball. We're talking about
That's right.
tech.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah. See, chat's not always a cesspool.
Does that happen? We're wondering about something, and the chat immediately tells us. They're like, actually, this. I'm like, oh yeah, there you go.
I feel like such a lazy piece of crap. I'm like, I could literally just type in 5 words and get there on Google. And I'm like, hey, chat, just let me know.
I'm on hogstats.com right now. Which, by the way, I guess we got completely off topic. I had one Remember Wednesday that I wanted to throw at you guys.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Y'all remember when Arkansas beat Michigan in January 21st, 2012, to be exact?
Absolutely, I do.
I had actually forgotten, remember when Arkansas lost in Ann Arbor a couple of years later? I completely blacked that game out of my memory. Arkansas apparently lost 80-67. But in this Michigan game that Arkansas won 66-64 at home in Bud Walton Arena, the leading scorer was B.J. Young with 15 minutes. I want to give you guys a chance. Can you name the guy who led Arkansas in minutes this game? Not points, minutes.
Minutes, I would say it would have to be either Ulysses Nobles.
Close, he was second.
Or it would have to be, was it Kai Madden?
No, he played a good bit. He played 26 minutes in this game. Rough game. He went 3 for 9.
Hunter Mickelson?
Hunter Mickelson had a good game, but he did not lead them in minutes either.
Hold on. Is it Sanchez?
No. Think about the most average guard Arkansas basketball has had in the last 20 years.
Gosh, Ricky Scott.
No, not him either, but close. You're getting closer.
Is it Madrakus Wade? I'm running out of play. Okay, I was about to say.
And I love Madrakus Wade. He had 12 points in this game, went 3 of 6 from. He had a Nelly Davis type of game. 3 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, 12 points in 34 minutes. For some reason, led the team in minutes. B.J. Young had 15 points in 31 minutes. But Madrakus Wade played a full 34.
Wow. Yeah, I remember I was front row in the student section for that game, of course. But here's the thing about that game. That's a great Remember Wednesday, by the way, Andrew, because Arkansas won. It was a great game. It was Mike Anderson's first year. It was also the game where Dorial Green Beckham officially was there in the arena visiting. Ooh. And they brought in all the recruits. And I'll never forget, I can say this now. You weren't allowed to have signs or anything saying names of players or anything. You know, you weren't allowed. The NCAA did not allow that. Well, we worked with certain people within the U of A. We snuck in the signs and they gave it to us. We made signs for like Dorial Green Beckham and all that. And man, the compliance person came flying in when they saw us holding them up. So that happened. Torrey Hunter was there. He had nothing to do with Razorbacks or anything, but he was there in person. Got to meet him. So that was cool. Also, I wanted to beat the crap out of Nick Novak. I don't know if Zach Novak.
Zach Novak, yes. Mm-hmm. He led Michigan in scoring in this game.
Yep, because he had a hard foul on B.J. Young. And also, again, I remember so much about this game. And also, it was an iconic moment for me because it was on CBS, and on the call was Bill Rafferty and Kevin Harlan. Just big time. And that Arkansas team did not deserve all of that because that team was not good. But it was so funny.
Michigan was ranked 20th. This Michigan team was nasty, dude. You had Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yep.
You had Trey Burke. You had the Zach Novak kid who was really good. And that's pretty much it. But, I mean, they were ranked 20th. I think they made the tournament that year. Trey Burke went 6 for 19 in this game. Played 39 minutes. Arkansas clamped him.
Yeah, just... And I don't know. And it was also funny trying to hear like Bill Rafferty talk about Ulysses Nobles about how good he is and stuff. And I'm like, man, you just met him today. You just heard about this kid today. You have no idea. But I appreciate it either way. Dude, but that was a fun game.
Nobles, he started a real like run of Arkansas guards who couldn't do anything but pass. Just straight up traditional throwback point guards who would just set the table.
And that was also the same season. I know we're talking about a lot about this team that nobody cares about, but that was also that season that Mardrakus Wade led the nation in 3-point percentage. He hit 49% from 3 that year.
Good
The next
Lord.
year,
Let it
hit
eat.
like 36. Just unexplainable. Unexplainable. But yeah, that was a great Remember Wednesday. I did. That was a fun game, and I wish they would go back to those home and homes. That was the last legitimate big non-conference home and home I think Arkansas has had in basketball. So, but I guess I skipped over you, Curse. I'm sorry, but do you have any Remember Wednesdays? I guess before we move on.
Well, I lost my train of thought too, and I had a good one that I can't remember. But you were talking about the home and homes. Like, do we remember when the last time Arkansas won one of these marquee neutral site games? And I'm not talking about like, oh, they beat San Diego
Oklahoma.
State in Maui or whatever, like a one-off like that. I am not counting a win over Porter Moser's Oklahoma teams at the BOK Center.
Well, they
It's
only
like
got one of those anyway.
like a marquee matchup like that on a neutral floor. I mean, when's the last time they won one of those?
I'm hoping. I'm on Hogstats right now. I'm wondering if they have this anywhere, like a tab for this. Which, by the way, shout out to hogstats.com. What a
They
legend.
should.
Yeah. So
They have like series results.
So you're saying no, like not like the Maui Invitational or something. You're talking about home and homes, just straight home and homes.
No, like just like a neutral site game.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what they did, like when they played Baylor the other, earlier in the year or whatever, or Illinois,
Right.
for that game. Like,
Yeah.
when have they done that on a neutral floor and won?
To be fair, I don't know. Like recently, like outside of the last like 5 years, they haven't historically done a ton of them. Like I don't remember Mike Anderson's team. I remember them doing some home and homes, but like they went to like Iowa State and stuff like that. They hosted Syracuse. I don't know if like Mike Anderson's teams played a ton of neutral site one-off games.
Yeah. And like I was looking at some of that too. I see people talking about the PK80 and like that was one of those little tournament things, and they got some cool wins there. And they've had some, like the San Diego State game was cool, but yeah,
I saw Caleb says Minnesota was the last one. I remember they played Minnesota, and because that was when Richard Pitino was the coach there.
I think that was a home and home though.
Is that
right?
a home
Yeah.
and home? Yeah.
I thought so too.
That was the debut of Sharkensaw. I'm pretty sure. Which,
Could
by
be.
the way, shout out to the actual Sharkensaw who's in the chat. But like, I think that Minnesota game back in whatever, like 2014, 15 or whatever, was when they started doing the shark thing.
Mm-hmm.
That may be it. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to really think about that, and going back to those like true, legitimate neutral site games that they've done.
Yeah. I don't know.
But just away from Bud Walton, it was nice to see him get a win because I guess this was their first. No, they won. Yeah, it was the first win away from Bud Walton.
Well, they won at Miami.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a big week for this. These are some road warriors now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So yeah, that was a huge shout out there. I like that. It was fun doing a little Remember Wednesday action, talking about all that.